Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 59th episode of Let's Talk About Market. We have seen an interesting move today. In fact, if you all recall yesterday, we had discussed that the sentiment indicators, which is the extreme short-term indicator, which is the daily swing, that had gone to an oversold zone, and in fact, in the morning, this reading was even more interesting because it had gone almost to the single digit, especially the daily swing, and the other ones did see significant lower levels, but from there the nifty index did bounce back. And if you see, there were many other important indicators that were indicating that at some point of time we should see a short term bounce. So that is what we saw. So let me quickly share my screen, and someone can please confirm if you all are able to see my screen properly. Just give me a minute before that. Just give me a minute. Yeah. So wait, let me quickly share my screen, and someone can please confirm if you all can see my screen and if you all are able to hear me properly. Okay. Are you all able to see my screen and hear me out and hear me properly? So please, confirm the message in the chat box so that we can proceed. If you all are able to hear me properly and if you all are able to see my screen. Okay, just 1 minute. I will mute the notification. Pause. Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sumit, for the confirmation. So, when we see the Nifty index, if you all recall yesterday, we had discussed that the 40-day exponential average is very important, and the lower band, this zone is likely to be very important. And also, if you go to the hourly chart, you will realize there was one minor gap that was there over here. Okay, this was the gap zone that was there. So basically, what Nifty index did was that it tested this support zone, and from there it bounced back. And around this zone was also the daily 40-day average, 40-day exponential average and lower band. So everything were coinciding around this zone of 25,400 to 25,700. And from there, the Nifty index has seen, actually a very good bounce back. So what next to expect? Basically, if you go to the hourly chart and you draw a channel, we have sort of bounced back from that channel. So, this was the channel that I was talking about even yesterday. So over here, basically, as I mentioned, 25,800 to 25,700 was a multiple support zone, and for now, it seems like we have respected that zone. In fact, the even more interesting part is that the Nifty small cap index. Okay, in fact, if you see the Nifty micro cap index, that has also had breached the lower end of the channel, but from there it has bounced back. Even, I was talking yesterday about BSC small cap index, which is slightly different. And over there also, it appears to have bounced back from the lower end of the channel. So, some interesting moves are happening now. Whether we need, we need to see whether these are durable bounce or no. So for that, basically, what we would first watch is a pullback that happens. And in this pullback, basically, we'll watch out for this hourly area. The hourly averages are somewhere around 26,000 and the upper end of the channel. So this, if I draw it more precisely, the upper end of the channel would be, say, somewhere around 26,150. So, 26,000, 26,150, these are the levels to watch out for in the near term. And if we end up getting this channel breakout, then I think it should be viewed bullishly. and we should expect the markets to move higher. But at the same time, I think if these important levels are not broken on the upside, and at some point we end up breaking this level of 25,700, 715, whatever low that we have made today, if that breaks on the downside, then we can get into a bit of a trouble. But as of now, if you see the data, I mean, it looks like that at least in the very very near term, okay, we might have made a bottom which the Nifty index did today. And the reason why I am saying this is because I have put a template of extreme short term. Okay, so in extreme short term, what do I look at is call minus put, daily swing, and average swing. Okay, so you typically when both of them, when all the three reaches to an extreme, so in fact today in intraday the average swing had almost gone to around 18 levels or 17 levels or so. And in fact, the daily swing had gone to almost around single digit. I think it was 10 or 9, something like that. It had gone today. But because we have seen a good pickup in the breadth overall, and this gauges the FNO stocks, so, we have seen the daily swing bouncing back. So that's the good news. And in fact, even if you see the call minus put, that has come to the 5 lakh mark, which is, basically we add up all the calls of overall market, and we minus that by put, and we get this reading. And you will realize that, see, whenever the Nifty index has been in an uptrend, okay, I'm talking about when they have been in an uptrend, okay. So at that point of time, you will see that each time it comes to around or above the 5 lakh mark, we end up getting a short term bottom, and from there we pick up. This was even the election day low. And broadly, if you see, that is what it seems to have happened every time. But again, this is an indication of a very very short term. So that is why, I mean, because we have these indicators, that is why with some degree of confidence I can say that probably today's low appears to be an important low. And if it does not break on the downside, then maybe there is a good chance that we head higher. But the contrarian to that is that what happens if this low breaks on the downside. So then multiple risk will open up, because even if we see this trend line has broken on the downside, if this rising trend line, but it's the lower band which is contracting, and the 40-day from which if you notice, Nifty index was trending higher. So that has acted as a support, and we would not want this to be breached. If this breaches, then who knows, I mean, we can even test this level and even go a lot more lower than this. So that is what the setup is. And as I mentioned to you, I mean, small caps, mid caps, in fact the micro caps, these were the ones which were very laggard, and which is what they, I mean, over here now we are seeing some sort of a bounce back after even retracing 50% of the entire rise. Okay, so this is, I'm talking about the micro cap. And small cap, if you see, it has, I think, retraced around 38.2% of the entire rise. Okay, it has done 38.2, but I mean, it was between 38.2 and 50%, and from there it has bounced back. So let's see whether this turns out to be a durable one or no. But if we see the small and the micro cap, they have been trending higher. So for these indices especially, it is very very important for them to break and sustain above this 40-hour exponential average. Similarly, the case with micro cap, it has to break and sustain above the 40-hour exponential average. If it manages to do that and sustain above it, then with some degree of confidence we can say that we are seeing early signs of a turnaround. So that is there. Now, one more thing, that was also kind of supportive for the index was that if you see the PCR, so this is the raw PCR that I am telling you, okay, for the Nifty index, that had gone to almost around 0.65 levels. And usually, when the PCR comes to around 0.65, 0.6 levels, that is where, we can expect maybe a short-term bottom to occur. And from there, a bit of an improvement in in breadth is what we can see. Okay, but largely, as you know, I mean, I had spoken about this yesterday also. The 20-day AD ratio that is right now not picking up. 40-day that is towards the oversold zone. So if we see all the sentiment indicators, the only thing, I mean, which kind of bothers me is that the market wide put call ratio that is towards the upper end. Okay, now the risk over here is that only this indicator has a room to go on the downside, and typically in the rising market this ratio rises higher, and in falling market it falls lower. So it would be interesting to see what this indicator really does. But I mean, if you see many of the other indicators, so this is only one indicator which is kind of telling us that we are at the top. But also remember that earlier it used to even go to 1.5, 1.2 also, but after that there has probably been some range shift. So I don't know, I mean, if this is an indication that maybe a range could be changing. I don't know that. But many of the other diffusion indicators like percentage of stock about 20 SMA for the small cap, that had also gone to almost around 10 yesterday, and now we are seeing some bounce back, right? That is true for total market as well, and small mid caps. So everywhere, we were seeing this ratio going to the oversold. It is only the Nifty index where we have not seen, and so far, in fact, now today especially, the Nifty index was weak. As you can see over here, the Nifty index was down by 0.5% or so, but micro cap was up nearly 2%, small cap was up 1%. So we just need to see, this trend being more evident, where especially these two indices which have been in dumps, which is small cap and micro cap, they need to sustain above the 40-hour exponential average. Once they start doing that, that is where we can start anticipating a bit of a reversal. So yeah, broadly that is where we are in the Nifty index. Today's low is kind of an important support level, or broadly you can say 25,700 is an important support level. The Nifty index needs to hold above that if we want to maintain a bullishness. In fact, the interesting fact in Bank Nifty is that today the 20 DMA also got saved. I mean, it was looking like that it will break below the 20 DMA, but that did not happen. So from the lower level, it recovered, and it closed above the 20-day simple moving average. So again, I mean, fingers crossed. We need to see that whether this channel holds or no. And then on the upside, like I mentioned, 26,000, 26,100. These are the important resistance level on the way up. And I think once these resistance level break on the upside, that's where some interesting moves can happen. So because today the small caps and the micro caps were turning around, that is where I went to strike. I went to the heat map, and I had put a custom date. So I'll tell you how did I filter out the stocks. I mean, basically, I was just trying to see which are the stocks that have held well. Probably to see if there are any opportunities that are arising, right? So this you can see that July 18th is where the Nifty index has topped out. In fact, I actually took this high, just to see that. I mean, just to gain a little more time. So over here, I did basically from July 11. I mean, you could do it from July 21st as well. It doesn't matter. I just tried to do for a little more longer time frame. So June 2025 to December till date. Okay. So over here, as you can see, I mean, small and the mid caps have not performed well, and that's why these are coming into laggards. But since there are some signs of reversal that we are possibly starting to see, so that's why I was just trying to make a list of these stocks. Okay, so what I was trying to see is that, because you can see that micro cap, small cap were all in negative, so all I'm trying to filter out the stocks is greater than 5%, 2 to 5%, and 0 to 2%. Okay, and then simply I made a watch list. So if you see, this was the watch list that I made, right? Huh. Small and micro cap outperformers. So over here, when you scan this, so from micro cap, you will end up getting around 71 stocks, and the rest few stocks you will get it for from small cap. So these are your 96 stocks, that have managed to give a positive return between this period. And we can imagine the kind of carnage that we have seen in the stocks. So imagine, like, between this, okay, between this phase, there are many, sorry. So yeah, between this phase, there are almost around 80 to 90 stocks. Okay, as you can see over here in the watch list, I think it is around 90 stocks or so. Yeah, 92 stocks are there, which seems to be outperforming. So now, on this, you can basically try and run different scans that you may want to see. I mean, one I was also looking at is that, say, for example, from basically from this level, right, 18th of July, which are the stocks that have not broken the 40-day exponential average, right? So this, you can see, I had already done the screen. And so from those 90 stocks, we boil down to some 46 stocks. Okay, so these are the stocks, as you can see, they have not broken the 40-week exponential average. In fact, I had done 50. You can tighten it by 40, and if you do that, then now just 37 stock comes into your watch list. So these are the small and the micro cap stocks that have done well or performed relatively better, between this phase, and they have not broken uh, above this, as you can see, above the averages, and that's why they are featured in our list. Okay, that is the reason they are featured in our list. So this is the one, and this percentage change is between that time frame. Okay, now see, remember that in heat map I had taken from June 11th. Okay, and over here I have taken 17. So over here also you can eliminate the ones, the ones which have come in red. Maybe these are the ones that you may want to ignore, but keep in mind that these are the stocks that have held above the 40-week exponential average. So the decision is yours. But basically, now I can refine it further, and I can say strong, strong, small, micro cap stocks. Okay. And I can make this entire watch list once again. Now, so over here, now these are the stocks that automatically comes on my radar because they have performed well, okay, between a certain period of time. So, one is that I'll put it in the watch list and I'll keep an eye on them, as to how they are behaving. Additionally, I might want to see, which are the ones where the momentum is picking up, and I mean, is there an opportunity over there or no? Okay, so I'm removing the small micro cap, and over here, as you can see, that there were only three stocks that I had given buy, but this is above the zero line. This one is below the zero line, but it is below the averages. But again, an interesting pattern in data metrics. I mean, if you see over here, there is a. I'm so sorry. My son has got. Has got a little wild. So yeah, but I mean, if you see this, this is more like a triangular pattern. It seems to be forming. I don't know. I mean, if you do it like this or you do it anyway, but this is a broader consolidation. It is in. If you see the weekly averages, it is towards the 40 week and the lower band, and from there, it is now trying to turn around. So in this sense, Datamatic looks interesting. Gabriel, again the one, it is turning around below the averages, and we are seeing a bullish crossover. In fact, if you see, there is a positive divergence that is there, that is visible over here. And on the weekly, it has sort of come to the 40 week exponential average, and from there it is trying to turn around. So at this point of time, in today's case, I mean, these are the two stocks within the small and the mid caps, I mean, small and micro cap, that appears to be interesting. But as I told you, I mean, you can run different scans on that. Okay, I mean, you can even run it on the Dow trend, where show me the list of stocks where, mm, like if I do small micro cap, small micro strong small micro cap over here, now which are the ones that are going from down to up. Down to up means they are breaking above the previous high, right? So in this you can see that this is I think this is Anupam Rasayan, then Sempro. I mean, I don't know this stock, but you can see that there is a nice consolidation that is happening over here. So there could be different ways in which you can scan. Again, I mean, someone might want to scan based on, say, which are the stocks where the RSI is very low. Okay, so for that, not necessarily I would want a basket. I might want to run it on the entire market. So relative strength, if I do sorry, this is monthly, but if I do daily, so I'll say which are the stocks where the RSI is below 20, right? So these are the stocks. I mean, these many stocks are there, 61 stocks where the RSI is below 61. Maybe, if you want to play a counter trend rally or a counter trend bounce, for that you want to play, you can simply go ahead. If you want a little more better stocks, maybe just remove all this and try to filter out based on the Nifty total market. Okay, Nifty total market has some decent uh, decent stocks. So here you go. I mean, these are the list that you have. Maybe you might want to see where is it that you are finding some opportunity. So I think those are the ways which you can possibly try and find out stocks. And if at all Nifty reverses, maybe you are in a position to capitalize on that. But at this point of time, all I would want to say is that the markets are not very conducive. Okay, I mean, we are at an edge, frankly, right now, because as I told you, I mean, for now 40-day has been held for now, but there are many indices where this is broken. Okay, so the first one to break was the micro cap, then small cap, then mid cap also broke yesterday. Now the fear is that, will this panic trickle down to the large cap? And frankly, I have no answer for that. For a long period of time, I was thinking that at some point of time small cap will pick up, but that has not happened, right? So my best guess would be that this risk on the downside will, just give me a minute, I'm not sure why this has not paused. Yeah. So yes, my best guess is that if the Nifty index breaks above the all-time high, which is say somewhere around 26,300 and so, and it starts sustaining at higher levels, then we can expect that the small and the micro cap, which have been bashed and which have been beaten out of shape, I think that is where some momentum will start picking up. And my best guess is that that is the place where then opportunity might lie. But for that, I would still say wait for the confirmation. If not anything, at least wait for the Nifty to break out from the falling channel, which I showed you, just a while back. So I think that is there. That is it for today. I don't know if you all have any questions. Please shoot it. We have 10-15 minutes to address any Q&A if you all have. Post that, we'll wind up the session for today. So any questions you all have, please let me know. I'm happy to clarify it. Any questions, please, let me know. I'll try to, address it. Yeah, I'll wait for a couple of more minutes. It's 7:20. I mean 5:26 right now. I'll wait till 5:28. If I don't see any question, then we'll wind up. Then we'll wind up for today. Okay. So let me know if you all have any questions related to whatever Nifty or anything. And request you to please not talk about stocks specifically, but if you all have any broader question like how to look at things, how to analyze or something, I'll be more than happy to address it. Okay, so I don't see any questions. So fine. That's it for today. Let's wind up this session and let's meet tomorrow at same time. Suvarna is asking for medium to long term view for Nifty. See, hands on heart, frankly, I feel that Nifty index should head higher, and I can give you ample of reasons why this should happen. But the only thing is that I don't know when all these things will start playing out. See, as you all are aware, that from a medium term perspective, there are few indicators like client plus client plus FI net future index, that we look. So in fact, I have created a template for the medium term setup, right? So over here, I'm basically using this one: client plus FI net future position, client position, FII position, and the 20-day AD ratio, right? If I see all of this ratio, they are all to an extreme at this point of time. So let me just put a vertical line, and these all went into the oversold zone, extreme zone, at the time when the Nifty index is actually trading around the all-time high. Okay, just to give you a context, this happened when it was somewhere over here, right? In fact, not somewhere over here, but somewhere over here. Okay, so you can see over here what had happened. So basically, client plus FI net future position, whenever it comes towards the lower end of the range, we sort of tell that extreme panic is there in the market. At some point of time, it should rise higher. Clients are actually opposite of FI. So FIs are usually net short towards the lower end. Extreme short towards the lower end, and clients are extremely long towards the bottom. And AD ratio, as you know, if it is at the lower end, it indicates that the breadth is bad. The same template is now happening over here. It is just that you can say that at least in the 20-day AD ratio, the extreme has not come, but it is still towards an oversold zone. So frankly, I'm not sure whether are we gonna consolidate over here and then pick up, or what is gonna happen. Uh, but the only thing is that very in the very short term, what I'm looking at is this 40-day exponential average, which has been holding on pretty well. I mean, if that is there, if that is gone, then maybe I need to be open for a risk of a correction probably over here. You call it correction, consolidation, whatever it is, but that is over here. But ultimately, if you ask me, what is my bias, I would tend to think that all this thing should resolve on the upside, and all these indicators should go to the other extreme. And when that happens, you should be able to see Nifty index, probably 10 to 12% higher from the current levels. Because in the past, when we have done the live stream, now I've given enough examples, when all these things happen. So, just to give you a context, wait, let me try and find such scenarios. So, one such scenario happened over here, right? Where client plus FI was extreme short. I mean, yeah, they were extreme short. After that, client was extremely long, FIs were extremely short, and the breadth was bad. And after that, you can see that there was, just if you want to measure it, just from low to high, if you want to measure it, it was a 20% move on the upside. Okay. From here also, if you want to measure it, it was almost a 15-16% kind of upside. And if you see the past instances as well, mostly you will see at least an average gain of somewhere between 12 to 20%, where kind of 12-13 is on a conservative side. And that's why I mentioned that you should be able to see 12% kind of rally, as and when these things play out. Now the only question is that when does it play out? Okay, because frankly, this is the largest amount of time where I have seen FIs being net short for a very, very long period of time. Usually it used to last for 15 days, 20 days or so, and then it used to turn around. But over here, the this phenomena has been happening since 12th, 13th of August. So it is quite some month now. I don't know if all this data is changing, all these ranges are changing or so. I mean, this only with the benefit of hindsight we'll come to know. But at this point of time, if I have to go by what has happened in the past and purely look at the data, this is what my best guess will be, that eventually we should be headed higher. The only point is that just to let you know, the Nifty index is facing some major resistance at 26,300. So once this range breaks on the upside and it starts sustaining above that, I think that's where the confidence will become even stronger for that case. So yeah, sorry, it was a bit detailed answer, but I just want to show you that the data is actually screaming, for the Nifty index to head higher. When does it happen? I don't know. I mean, that is the $1 million question right now. Any other questions? Yeah, thanks, Varna. So, fine. I think there are no more questions. So, let's wind up the session for today, and let's catch up tomorrow at 5 p.m. and see how things go.